So in my last video, I showed you guys how I totally maxed out my student Snap-on account. I was an automotive tech student at community college, and Snap-on has this program. It's called the Student Excellence Program, or SEP. They extend huge discounts to students who are part of automotive tech programs around the country, you know, in community colleges or institutes like UTI. So I was an automotive tech student, and yes, I maxed out my allotment with the SEP program. At the time, they allow you to purchase 11,500 worth of retail tools from a catalog. And so I had spent about $5,500 of my own monies to max that out. And they had just extended it to 12,000 retail. So I had asked you guys for your input as to what to purchase. So I'm going to show you the update here. What did I get with your advice? Also, I'm going to tell you a little bit about what I was doing in that program. A lot of you were kind of confused why a middle-aged guy like me was in that program to begin with. I'm going to give my advice to young people. You know, if you're a young automotive tech student, should you do what I did? Foreshadowing here, the answer is no. You know, which tools would I recommend? What would I recommend a young tech to do? And of course, we're going to do a toolbox tour. All right, so let's get started.
Dr. D, Dr. D, Dr. D. Dr. D, Dr. D, Dr. D. Dr. D, Dr. D, Dr. D. Explain stuff.
So let's get started with the toolbox tour first. Obviously, you can see that I did not go all out with the toolbox. This is US General from Harbor Freight. I got the 72-inch lower and the 56-inch upper. Of course, we have here junk drawers, which I'll show you. You know, everyone's got a junk drawer, and I've got all kinds of randomness in my junk drawer here. Every kind of random thing you can think of. There's another junk drawer, of course, full of randomness, tape measures and such. Got blades. These are blades. There's Gizmo. There's Wicket. All right, Gizmo, don't cut yourself on the blades here. Gizmo likes to inspect when I open my drawers. He likes to jump up and inspect the tools himself firsthand. All right, Gizmo. Oh, we need to get you down, buddy. When you're doing the toolbox tours, buddy. All right. So anyway, these are blades and cutters. Here's another kind of tool. This is another kind of junk drawer here. I've got some towels in here. I've got some masks, gloves, you know, just miscellaneous towels and things. All right, moving on to the best drawer of all right here. The long drawer on the triple bank here. This is the socket drawer. Yes, I love this drawer. This is probably my favorite drawer right here. Okay, so many of these are Snap-on. You know, Snap-on deeps here. We have Snap-on shallow. These are the Flank Drive Plus, metric, flank. Oh, of course, Gizmo's here to inspect again. Over here we have SAE Flank Drive Plus sockets, mainly from Snap-on. On the left we have the Flank Drive Plus metric. Again, we've got the deeps and the shallows for the 1/2 inch, the 3/8 inch, the 1/4 inch on the left, and then we have SAE deeps, shallows, same thing on the right. A 1/2 inch, 3/8, 1/4 inch on the right. We also have some more miscellaneous sockets here. You guys had asked me to get, you know, had suggested that I get the impacts, the Snap-on impacts, and these are the Snap-on impact sockets, metric. I've got the set here, which is great. They've become in handy. These have been really handy with my impact wrench. And then here we have lug sockets. We've got all different kinds of universal joint sockets. We've got the Torx bit. We've got hex bit. We've got, you know, Phillips and screwdriver bits. We've got all kinds of random bits over here. We also have some breaker bars here, all different types of breaker bars for all different types of sockets. We got the 1/4 inch breaker bar, 3/8 inch breaker bar, 1/2 inch breaker bar. We also have the long Snap-on ratchet here. This is the really long Snap-on. You can almost use this thing as a breaker bar, honestly. So that's kind of lives right here. So yeah, this is the socket drawer. Here I've got my Snap-on brake return tool, brake spring tool. And here's my Snap-on universal socket here. The socket drawer. But yeah, it's all mainly Snap-on chrome sockets here. I know a lot of you gave me some grief about having chrome sockets, but as you can tell, I'm kind of a do-it-yourselfer. I'm in my own shop here, and so I do wrench by hand. Efficiency, I'm not flat rate, so I figured these sockets will last me a lifetime, and I usually take my time with my cars anyway. Again, I'm going to introduce myself better and tell you guys, kind of who I am and why I have this. But no, I am not a professional. So I do have a lot of those chrome sockets. Though I did take your advice, you guys. I did get the Impact Snap-on sockets here. 6-point flank drive plus. So let's move on. Let's move on to the next drawer here. This is my second favorite drawer. These are my metric wrenches, right? So I have the whole Snap-on range here. These are the Snap-on wrenches. I've got the regular metrics. I've got the ratcheting metrics, and all of these are flank drive plus. And then I've got the long Snap-on metric. And then I also have these are probably my favorite, you guys. These are the double flex ratcheting wrenches from Snap-on. These are amazing. I love these things. Okay. I also have the Snap-on crow's feet, as well as other miscellaneous. So I've got some Pittsburgh back here, Pittsburgh ratchets over there. Okay. I do also have some gear wrench over here on my other cart. This is kind of a Harbor Freight special five drawer cart. This guy's got, I've got my metric and SAE ratcheting gear wrench wrenches as well. Well, you want to go inside, bud? Go on, bud. Go on, bud. All right, it's going in. All right, back to our tour, right? So yeah, this is probably one of my favorite drawers. My first favorite, obviously is the sockets, and then I've got my metric wrenches, and of course below it I have to have my SAE wrenches. So I have my Snap-on SAE. I also have Wera wrenches, which are really great. They come in clutch when I need to hold the nut, and keep the nut from falling. These are great for getting those things in places. So I've got the metric and the SAE Wera wrenches. And then I have the offset metric wrenches from Snap-on as well. I love these things. They get into little nooks and crannies that I normally can't get into. And then I have the SAE kind of crow's feet type extensions as well. Now in my last video, a number of you were pretty concerned about how I'm going to pay off the debt for all these Snap-on tools, and rightly so. Now I'm going to get into that. I'm going to tell you, how much debt I accrued, and if I have any rogue, toolbox guys coming after me, for their debt, if they're coming to repo this US General box here. I'm going to get into all that, but if I were to save to pay that guy back, I would use money that I put into my Ridge wallet. Thank you to Ridge Wallets. Do you know Ridge Wallet reached out, and they're the very first partner I have on this YouTube channel. I really want to thank Ridge for partnering with me. They provide wallets and daily carry essentials that are really awesome, and they ship me out this particular wallet. It's a gunmetal gray Ridge wallet. It's metal. It's awesome. It's minimal. It fits all of my cards and cash. As you can see, it has a cash clip on the back, which is really cool. Right now, with the link below, viewers of my channel can visit Ridge, enter the promo code YouTube10 for a 10% discount off of their wallets. Here, you guys, and this thing is RFID protected, so people can't just steal your information off of the chip. Holds all my cards. It could hold up to 12 cards, but all I have is 7. I only have 7 cards I ever lug around. You know, and then I've got my cash here as well. It can hold a bunch of cash. This is 5 bills, but it could easily hold more bills as well. So, I mean, pretty much everything you need. So, it's so cool that the first partner of this show is a product that I actually enjoy, and that, you know, is pretty cool, that I don't mind carrying around and actually prefer to my old clunky wallet there. Then under here I have the kind of the drivers. You know, I've got my screwdrivers here. I've got the Snap-on pick set. I've got the Snap-on small, you know, precision screwdriver set. Over there I've got, actually I really love these. These are vessel screwdrivers. I also have this guy here. This is for electrical work. But I have my Snap-on quarter inch driver. Here I have my Snap-on O-ring, you know, pick here. Over here I've got my really long Snap-on screwdrivers with the rubber grips, soft grip. Here I've got Snap-on screwdrivers with the hard handle, Snap-on screwdrivers with the soft handle as well. So every screwdriver I'll need. Although I do have a driver's drawer over here as well for just really miscellaneous drivers as well. You know, just all kinds of random drivers in here as well. Though, on my, anything that's missing from this drawer, I guess I would have on my toolbox over here. I have my little tool bench set up, and I have, you know, just craftsman tools here. I've got, you know, all kinds of just random craftsman drivers here as well. Okay. So back to the toolbox. This drawer here is my pliers drawer. Every which type of plier. I've got all kinds of randomness here. I've got some hose pliers. I've got some channel locks here. These are, oh, I love this set right here. I love this pair. This is the Raptor by knipex. I guess you pronounce them knipex sometimes. Here you've got some Snap-on pliers. Here we've got the lineman pliers here. Sliding needle nose pliers, Snap-on. All of these were through the Student Excellence program. I like these knipex as well. Let's see. Oh, the VAM pliers. You can't forget the VAM pliers. I love these things for taking, you know, pulling things out of wood. Let's see, what else do we have here? Just miscellaneous, very much miscellaneous pliers. I got the fuel or the oil filter pliers. I've got pliers that open up clamps for me. I've got, oh yeah, these are good. These are some Doyles. This is a Doyle side cutter right here. All right, bud, you want in too? All right, bud. All right, we'll see you guys. All right, back to the show here. What else do I have in here anyway? It's been a while since I've even peeked in here. Here's another Snap-on. These are the side cutters. Snap-on side cutters. Just some electrical strippers here. Got some Craftsman over here. I've got some vice grips here. Different variety of vice grips. some Kobolt pliers as well, small Kobolt pliers. But that's about it for the pliers drawer. Pretty much everything I could want. I'll close that up. Then in the bottom drawer, all right, so in the bottom drawer, I do have this oscillating tool in here. I've got my air pump. I've got a saw, or I've got a hammer drill in here. These are all torque wrenches. This one is one I picked up thanks to you guys. You guys had good advice here to pick up some Snap-on, a Snap-on precision torque wrench here. Yeah, this is my Snap-on torque wrench here. I really like this guy. It's been great. It's worked great here. Let's see how far, what range it works at. In foot-pounds, we go from 5 all the way to 75. So it's like a mid-range torque wrench. You know, you could do some of the more precision stuff, but you can also get pretty heavy with it as well. And of course, I've got a Kobolt torque wrench as well. And I have the Tekton as well. So depending on the amount of foot-pounds that I need, I grab a different torque wrench. All right, the drawers on the right, we have our ratchets. Most of these are Snap-on ratchets, though I do have a few, hold on, I have a few Pittsburgh in here as well. I've got a couple Pittsburghs, but most of these are Snap-on ratchets. I've got, you know, various 3/8, half-inch, quarter-inch ratchets from Snap-on. You know, it's like this one's a Pittsburgh, but the rest are, this is a Snap-on long quarter-inch, Snap-on locking flex quarter-inch, Snap-on short quarter-inch. Then we've got the Snap-on, you know, with the bent handle here, you know, 3/8 inch with the little bent handle. We've got the 3/8 inch Snap-on, the long Snap-on, locking flex Snap-on. We have the long soft grip Snap-on. And yeah, a lot of you were very dismayed that I have, you know, so many analog ratchets. But again, I'm a do-it-yourselfer, and you know, for me, I'll keep these for a lifetime. So, and time isn't of the essence for my projects here at home. So, you know, we have the half-inch Snap-on here. Again, this is the soft Snap-on half-inch here. I also have the longer Snap-on here, and I showed you the really long one in the socket drawer over there. But I do have a long, you know, a long locking Snap-on half-inch here as well. So I've got pretty much the whole variety of different Snap-on ratchets, which I love. Okay, and then under here, we've got our extensions. These are all Snap-on extensions. So I've got the quarter-inch wobbly set, the 3/8 inch wobbly, and then the half-inch, you know, just regular extension set. And then I have this is a Snap-on driver, you know, speed driver it's called. This guy is the Snap-on speed driver. Okay, and I think the rest of these are Craftsman or, you know, no-name extensions in here. I already showed you the driver drawer here. I've got all different types of drivers, you know, for every occasion. Got some Allen wrenches here, you know, Husky. I think this is Pittsburgh. Yeah. Underneath that, I've got my, it looks like these are my rivet tool and everything, all the rivet tools. I also have up here some grommets, you know, grommet kits. Underneath that, I've got my trim tools here, you know, all the trim removal tools. I've got some oil filter removal tool. I've got compression gauge here to test compression. I've got puller here, two jaw gear puller here. This thing is good for removing the harmonic balancer. This is a spark plug test tool. Just miscellaneous brake tool here. I got my brake tool here. I've got, this thing cleans my, battery. Other types of trim removal tools as well. And then underneath that, I have my, I've got more oil filter removal tools. I've got oil filter wrench here. Let's see what else. More pullers, more random pullers. I've got pipe benders. What else do I have? OBD tool here. And then my bottom right is just actually a bunch of random cords I've put in here. All right, as you can see on the top shelf here, on the top box here, I've got a bunch of different chemicals, random things. I've got my fast orange, electrical cleaners, starting fluid, Marvel mystery oil, pretty much everything I need. I've got some PB blaster, I've got some ATF oil, got some grease, my bearing packer over there, just randomness. Let's go ahead and start with the top shelf. Here's kind of a junk drawer, but it's mainly for measurement tools. I've got various types of rulers and measurement tools on there. The next drawer down, these are my clamp tools for wood projects mainly. Next drawer down, I've got my pry bars. See, I've got, these are the Snap-On pry bars with the striking ends here. Though I do have some other pry bars as well, and cutters and things, chisels, scrapers. That's that kind of drawer here. And then I've got over here I've got my hammers. Here I have rubber mallets, ball peen hammer, regular hammers. I've got this is my Snap-On here. It's a dead blow ball peen hammer through Snap-On. The rest of these, I got a couple DeWalt's back here, Kobolt, etc. Here I have some hoses, random hoses and things I need. Underneath that, I've got my air tools and, adapters and things for air tools. Got my staplers, fasteners, and then this drawer has actually become my pressure washing drawer. I got all my pressure washing adapters in here, and nozzles and things like that in here. So that about wraps up the main toolbox. In case you're wondering what I use for, my impact drivers and things, what kinds of power tools I use, it's all Milwaukee, as you can tell. I've got the Milwaukee, a 1/2 inch fuel impact. This thing, does lug nuts in no time, and this thing is great. I've got the 3/8 fuel impact as well. So between these two, it's pretty much everything I need. I also have the power ratchet here, Milwaukee power ratchet. Between those three, I get all my car stuff done. And then, of course, I've just got some regular drills as well, and a brad nailer, miscellaneous saws and things up there as well, a flashlight. And then I've got my other bits here, or my other drivers here. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Because I know a lot of you were telling me, you need some power tools, but I didn't want to spend money on the Snap-On power tools when Milwaukee's just fine. I wanted the chrome tools to last a lifetime, to be in my toolbox till I'm old and gray. Power tools are not going to last until you're old and gray. They're not going to be there forever like chrome sockets are, So Milwaukee for this stuff, and then obviously Snap-On for all my hand tools. I think that's the way to go. On the side here, I've got my gloves. I've got everything I need. Chargers up on the wall. But But yeah, that's pretty much what I do with my in my garage. I've got all these tools and everything I need to work on my cars. Down here I've got all my jack stands. I built these benches in. Over there I've got my vise here. Down here I've got my jack stands, wheel chocks, random fluids. This is my kit. This is my small mobile automotive kit. You know, I've got the little pen screwdrivers. Got my little tire gauge. Got a better tire gauge in here. You know, checking my PSI. Bunch of random miscellaneous tool in here. Got the blue driver pro scan tool. What else do I have in here? You know, looking at brake pads, brake pad measuring tool. Of course, you need a flexible mirror. Some gloves. Oh, this is fun. This is my little Snap-on reversible bit tool. It's kind of an interesting little Snap-on tool here. Let's see if I can get some more details here for you. Yeah, it's a little Snap-on reversible bit tool. Different tire gauge. Depth. Tread depth checker. Spark plug gap checker here. And here's another spark plug gap checker. S hooks. Battery cleaner. And miscellaneous sockets. So by the way, I use this one for all my electrical stuff, but I'm not going to go into that one. I also use the Daytona 3-ton Super Duty jack from Harbor Freight. This thing works pretty great. And I've got my creeper here from Craftsman, you know, for getting under things. All in all, you know, I think I've got a decent little garage setup here. And the main things I work on here at the home are my, you know, my Toyotas. We have a 4Runner, a Tacoma, as well as a Camry. And then I'm also rebuilding a 1978 MGB. So that thing is running, but I'm trying to get all the gremlins out of the electrical system and trying to get that thing, you know, finalized. And yeah, so I am definitely a shade tree mechanic. I just do projects here at home. So that leads me to the next bit of this video. So that leads me to the big question, you know, would I recommend the SEP, you know, Student Excellence Program to, you know, people who are entering automotive tech for the first time? You know, would I recommend it to them? And so let's talk about that. As people pointed out in the last video, yes, I am very much a do-it-yourselfer. I'm a shade tree mechanic. I did work on my associates in automotive tech at a community college, but it's the same community college I work at. So I am Dr. D. I have my PhD in genetics. You know, I got my PhD from UT Southwestern, you know, in genetics, and I did some research, some postdoctoral fellowships at UCLA and at UT Southwestern as well. And now I'm a community college biology professor. So basically my full-time gig is that I teach biology full-time, and I teach students biology on this YouTube channel. The main focus of this YouTube channel is my, you know, my teaching, and I like to share my knowledge of biology with my students on this channel, but I also love to share my hobbies and my passions on this channel as well. That's why I called it Dr. D Explains Stuff and not so much Dr. D Explains Biology, because I love to share my hobbies on here as well. All the work I did getting the MG running and the MG setup, and all the work I do on my personal cars as well. So being a full-time professor at a community college, I'm extended an awesome perk of the job, which is if I can pursue different educational goals. I can get classes essentially for free. If I want to learn, guitar, I could take a guitar class. If I want to work towards something that will enrich my career, enrich me with my knowledge, I can take those classes. So I decided to take automotive tech because I want to learn those topics. And actually, believe it or not, I use a lot of the topics I learn in automotive tech in my classroom when I teach biology as well. A lot of times I'll compare and contrast how a car works to how the human body works. So it's kind of like neat knowing the facets of both. But so anyway, I was taking these automotive tech classes essentially for free. So that freed up a lot of money I could use towards the SEP program because I didn't have to pay tuition. So keep that in mind. A lot of you students, if you're entering a community college or UTI, for instance, you're paying for tuition. You may have a part-time job. You're not going to have a ton of money left over for tools. I had a full-time job and I wasn't paying tuition, so I could pay for these tools. And no, by the way, a tool truck guy is not going to drive up and make you sign your first child away, and sign up for a line of credit through the truck. That's not the way the SEP program works. The SEP program is directly through Snap-on. And if anything, you're dealing with one guy who's actually from corporate. He's not just a regular truck guy. We touched base with one guy, and he was from corporate, a very professional guy in a suit. He didn't drive up in the Snap-on truck. When I made my orders for the SEP program, when I maxed out this account here, I didn't have a line of credit or anything like that. I just used my own personal credit cards, which I then paid off at the end of the month. So I never actually had any debt for maxing out this student excellence program. Again, like I said, I have a full-time gig as a full-time professor. So, I made enough to cover, all of these tools and never be in debt. So keep that in mind. Obviously when you see things online, when you see things on the internet, you think, oh, wow, I should mimic that or I should be like that. It's like, well, you may not be in the same position in your life. So if you're just starting out, I really would not recommend, maxing out your credit cards and going into debt. You know what? I'll give you a funny story. Did you know that a few years ago, you could actually order, there was no limit on the SEP program for students. This is the stories I heard when I was in automotive tech school. Back in the day, you could take the entire Snap-on catalog and you could pretty much pick whatever you want from that catalog, but people would abuse it. So for instance, if a kid was working at a local dealership and the kid was in a college program under SEP, his boss might say, hey, use your SEP discount to get me a alignment rig. So they would get the entire alignment machine worth how many tens of thousands of dollars, and the kid would order an alignment machine at basically cost. So people would abuse it in those ways because their bosses would have the kids order big ticket items from the catalog. So they limited what you can order with the SEP program. They limited it to mainly hand tools, but you could get some smaller size carts as well, those Snap-on carts, though I didn't want to spend all my money on a cart. I'd rather have nice tools in a, Harbor Freight cart than a, amazing Snap-on cart with Harbor Freight tools inside. So, they limited it to a handful of hand tools, as well as, you could get some impacts as well and some power tools as well. But like I said, I'm not interested in power tools. They're never going to last as long as, you know, chrome sockets and a ratchet, you know, and a wrench. You know, I wanted tools for life. For power tools, I recommend, you know, all the fuel impacts and things like that. The ratchets, fuel ratchets from Milwaukee, they're great. And speaking of Harbor Freight, if I was starting out and I was a young kid, you know, just starting out in automotive, you know, I got to know a lot of those guys when I was in that program. I would recommend, you know, Harbor Freight is great. You know, just go to Harbor Freight with their new Icon tools. Those things are in many ways comparable to Snap-on nowadays. I've seen some stuff on TikTok where they went Snap-on Flank Drive Plus, you know, Icon side by side, and the Icon Plus one. So, you know, I would get the Icon tool over the Snap-on Flank Drive Plus if I was starting out, for sure. Another thing you might not realize is a lot of times these tool trucks, you know, this Snap-on tool truck guys, let's say your ratchet breaks, they're not going to give you a whole new ratchet. You know, they're just going to fix the guts of the ratchet you have. So, you know, that's, you know, let's say your ratchet's all messed up and scraped up and scratched up and greasy and destroyed, and, you know, the rubber's all messed up. And you break your ratchet, they're just gonna fix that mechanism in the ratchet. They're just gonna take the guts out of your old ratchet, put new guts in, if you're lucky. So, you know, is that worth more than getting an Icon ratchet? And, you know, if that thing breaks, you just go to Harbor Freight and they'll just hand you a whole new one. You know, I think I would rather have a whole new one than just the guts of a old one. I don't know. So all that to say, there are so many good tools out there nowadays, and you don't need to spend premium money to get, you know, Snap-on tools if you're just starting out. So just because I did it, you know, doesn't mean, you know, other people need to do it or should do it, especially if you're going to go into credit. I was in a position where I could get quality tools at 55% off with no debt. You know, I mean, it's a no-brainer when my hobby is working on my cars. I've probably paid for those tools, you know, in just doing projects around the house. You know, last weekend I did the water pump, serpentine belt, coolant flush, and the thermostat on my 2003 4Runner. Well, that was over $1,000 worth of work right there that I did for, what, a couple hundred worth of, you know, coolant and a new water pump from Amazon. So there you go. I just saved over $1,000 right there, paid for my tools. You know, every time I have oil changes, I do my own. Every time I have a water pump, I do my own. Every time I have, you know, any kind of maintenance, I do my own. And that slowly pays for the tools I bought. So to me, it was well worth the investment because, again, I wasn't paying for tuition. Instead, I'm just paying for the tools. The tools end up paying for themselves with my knowledge, you know, and I have fun, and I make these videos, and these videos are fun to make too. So again, if I were starting out and I had the SEP program, I'm going to show you which tools I would buy. Okay, if I were starting out, I would get maybe a couple ratchets. I would get maybe this soft, long Snap-on ratchet, you know, with the soft grip, or at least this, maybe this locking Snap-on 3/8, you know, because you use the 3/8 all the time. Maybe the soft, you know, half-inch as well, but no more than 2 ratchets. Maybe some extensions, but maybe some extensions, wobbly extensions. But what I would really get, or as you guys recommended in my old video, some Snap-on impacts, okay? Also, very useful, very useful are the double flex ratcheting Snap-on long wrenches. These things are great as well. Honestly, between this, maybe some ratchets, and some impacts, I think that's all I would get if I was actually starting out as a young automotive tech student, you know, and then the rest of it I would pick up from Harbor Freight, and then I would pick up my impacts from Milwaukee, and I would call it a day. I think you'd be good. Maybe all the other screwdrivers and stuff you could pick up from Harbor Freight or from Craftsman or something. You don't need anything too great. Your wrenches could be from gearwrench. Gearwrench isn't bad. You don't need to spend a fortune. It's hard enough to make $1 when you're flat rate, when you're working as a new tech. So don't max things out. Toolbox especially, just get yourself a US General. These things are, I don't use this every single day, but every single drawer works perfectly. Everything's great. It holds everything. The slides glide fine. Everything's great. Don't spend a fortune on a Snap-on, triple bank and double bank, for no reason. All right. So again, I'm kind of in a unique situation. How many full-time professors end up taking automotive? I did. I maxed it out. I don't regret it, but you might. It all depends on where you're at in your life. But I hope this video helps. I hope it was a good update. Let me know in the comment box below if you have any questions. It was fun making this update video. I hope it helped. Let me know if you want to see anything else. I've got this garage here. I've got projects coming up. Let me know if you want to see anything else. But it's been a pleasure, you guys. And I love this community, by the way. Me as an outsider, I'm more academia type. I'm a science nerd. But every time I make a video about automotive, every time I went to automotive school, those kids treated me like I'm one of them, and I see them as one of my own people too. So I really embrace this automotive community, and I want you guys to do well, and I love this community. I've never seen such positive people, and so I just love making these videos for you guys. And so please let me know what I could do different. If you have any suggestions, or if you want to see something else, I'll be glad to make that video. I hope you guys have a nice day, and I'll catch you guys next time.
Dr. D, Dr. D, Dr. D. Dr. D, Dr. D, Dr. D. A Dr. D, Dr. D, Dr. D. Dr. D, Dr. D, Dr. D. A Dr. D, Dr. D, Dr. D. Dr. D, Dr. D, Dr. D.